Hi, Dr. Don. This is my activity 4 on evaluations. And first, I just want to say the video that you assigned was not my favorite. It was really just listening to the gentleman's voice. He didn't really have a lot of slides on there, and so it was difficult to kind of follow along. I did try to write out notes, and without seeing him, I'm just so visual, without seeing him talk and without having additional slides as support, it was tough. There were so many resources in addition to the video that you did assigned, and I actually read a few, browsed through some, and I watched that video at the end on the teaching portfolio. So to answer the question, what might my evaluation system look like? I shared in either the quiz or the discussion what I experienced myself at my previous preschool. We're a very small preschool. I believe 11 employees, only 6 classrooms, 6 teachers. The rest were either aides, and then the rest were admin. And so my director would have a rubric, and it was a self-evaluation type thing, and I had to score myself. And I realized that after she gave her feedback, and after she scored me on the same items on the rubric, that I would typically underscore myself because I was still learning. I was kind of late in the game in my career. I was in my 40s when I started working, and in this case, being a teacher. And so, I'm new to that field, not new to kids, but just teaching. I want to, be the best. I want to make sure that my students are taken care of. I want to make sure I'm doing justice by the preschool standards. And so, for myself, I think I would also use a self-evaluation type of assessment. So in the case of the 6 steps for effective teacher evaluation, the video that you assigned, I find step 1 a little difficult. He mentioned, that the evaluator should look at what the students are learning and not what they are doing. And I'm just thinking for preschool, or say TK, when they are mostly doing, and that's how we say that they are learning. They're learning through play. So I kind of found that a little bit hard to be effective, I guess, in my case, for teaching young children. In my case, it would be the opposite. So I would like the evaluator to come and see what the kids are doing. Are they engaged with the material, right? And the material that I provide would have to be something that's developmentally appropriate. Are they working on fine motor skills? Step number 3 in the 6 steps for effective teacher evaluation is first observe the student, then the teacher, which I agree with. We have a phonemic awareness curriculum at my site, and it's a lot of repeating and a lot of hand movements that go with it. I can see my principal or an evaluator coming in and watching the students, observing the students, and I think they would be able to get a gist of, okay, is this curriculum appropriate? Are the students engaged? And once that is done, I think it would then make sense to observe me as a teacher implementing the lesson. Now, at my current site, I love my principal. She is very present. I see her outside in the mornings as we're getting ready to come into the classroom. She walks through the hallways. She walks through the classroom in an informal way. So I think this is step number 5, or step number 4. In the 6 steps is observe more, and I think she does. She's not taking notes, but I think with young children, she'll come throughout the day, in the mornings, in the afternoons when they're a little bit more rambunctious. She can kind of gauge, okay, is there learning going on? What my co-teacher and I sound like? Are they at their desks? Are they doing worksheets? So observe more. I have to agree with that as well, and I would include that in my evaluations. I think any kind of reflection is key for development and for growth. And so I would include in my evaluation a time where there's reflection, feedback, constructive feedback. I think that's key to kind of make sure that teacher and evaluator or administrator are aligned. I did like how he closed his talk, and he mentioned the 3 different hats a person wears: the coach, the mentor, and the tell. And here's some notes I jotted down. The coaching hat, when teachers are willing to improve their own performance and reflect on their own teaching behavior. Mentors are that's the hat they would wear when someone is new to teaching, the teaching profession, and it's to help them. And the tell hat is when teachers are at that improvement level. For me specifically, early childhood is near and dear to my heart. So I'm thinking for myself in my evaluation assessment, I do like NAEYC's standard number 6, becoming a professional, and I did like all of the sub elements because in order to assess a teacher in that field, it's such a unique field full of growth and development. I think it's important that the evaluator understand those elements of early childhood. All substandards of standard 6 are important, but I really connected with 6C, engaging in continuous collaborative learning to inform practice. We do this at my current site. We have what's called a PLC. We meet once a month. It's about 2.5 hours, and we have an agenda. But personally, for myself, I am always trying to improve, trying to be on top of what's new, what's current. TK is such a unique grade level, and so it's not a watered down kindergarten anymore. And I know California especially are trying to be better at having, we don't call them standards anymore, but they're called foundations. And so I try to attend a lot of professional development through the district, through school, but also outside of that. I always try to sign up for things, whether it's a STEAM lesson or math, literacy. If I have the time to do it and it doesn't interfere with my work hours, I try to do a lot of trainings. I think one of the links you included is the evaluation of teacher qualifications through the state of California. I think I probably filled something out very similar before I got hired at the district. So I think in order for me to have gotten a certificate of clearance or my child development permit, I would have already had to go through this. So I wouldn't include this type of assessment or evaluation once a teacher is already teaching, I guess. Because I think it includes like classes and personal information and applicable education or courses. I think that's like a pre type of thing before you get hired. So if I were to come up with an evaluation system, I would not use this once the teacher is already teaching. What really caught my eye in all the links that you sent was the teaching portfolio. And I know that when I was taking courses at SDSU for my major, liberal studies, I had to create a portfolio, and that was just my work as a student. I've never heard of a teaching portfolio that a teacher would have. Now, I'm a very creative person. You can tell when you come into my classroom, my co-teacher, not my co-teacher, but other members on the team kind of give me a hard time about it because they are not as creative. So a portfolio seems kind of right up my alley. I just don't know that it would be fair to others who are not as either creative. I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. I watched the video on the young lady who had a teaching portfolio. It was very basic, black folder. There was a template she used. I'm sure there are templates floating around out there. And it's pretty much like a plug and play, right? You just copy and paste, and not a plug and play. That was a terrible analogy, but a copy and paste. You would just take your information and put it in the template where it belongs. And although that sounds something fun to do, I don't know that, I mean, that takes time, and I know for myself all the things I already do for my classroom. I'm changing themes every week, sometimes every 2 weeks, and I am doing a lot. I do a lot more than the other classrooms, so now taking on a teacher portfolio, if that was required, I would do it. I probably would enjoy it, but I'm even now in my 4th year teaching as an elementary school teacher, trying to find, because it's my passion right now. I'm teaching TK. I'm still trying to learn how to balance or have a better work-life balance. So to add that to my list, I would enjoy it, but that would take time. And just because other teachers are not doing what I'm doing does not mean that their time is less valuable. And it wouldn't be the only tool to use in evaluation, but it could be if the template was simple enough. I think it would be beneficial. It just kind of caught my eye because I'm a very creative person, and so I would enjoy it, as I mentioned. Requiring it for others who aren't as adventurous or creative might be difficult. But I also like to think outside of the box. I don't always do what everyone is doing. My classroom, compared to the other classrooms, we stand out a little bit. So using a teacher portfolio as an assessment tool is thinking outside of the box. So I kind of appreciate that. There's an article that you assigned preschool educator evaluations the fun and effective way, and it included a free template. I tried to click on the link. It didn't work because that caught my eye. The article was very fun. It was, I enjoyed it. Already the vibe was like, okay, let's think outside of the box. What I liked was instead of like a sometimes, never, always, I liked how you could identify areas of strength with a scoring legend. I thought that was fun. You're a rock star. Good work. Keep it up. And let's improve on this. Even though we all know what they mean deep down, it's just a different way of framing it. So it doesn't seem so, the same. So to sum it up, my evaluation system would look something like, my getting to know each teacher. First, the sit down, they can talk about themselves. I would ask a lot of questions. I've mentioned before that we are given an evaluation where we come up with a goal. It could be a personal goal, it could be a school goal. And then my principal meets with me, I think 3 times a year. So the initial meeting, midway through the year, and at the end. And obviously, it's the middle meeting is a kind of a check in, and the last meeting is really, did we accomplish the goal? I would use a tool like that. I forget what it's called at my district, at my site. You're probably more familiar, but the reason why I like that, it's measurable. You can show growth, or you can even say, hey, I didn't meet my goal at the end because XYZ happened, or a new curriculum got in the way, or whatever it is. So it's trackable. I thought it was pretty simple. It didn't really diminish my own teaching style or anything like that. And it actually helped me as an educator, stay on track with just teaching and lessons in general. If only there was a way that my principal could know from my families. I get a lot of feedback from my families at conferences. We just had our open house and got a lot of compliments. And I just wish maybe my principal knew, that I do add value to the team and to the school. Honestly, I know what I'm doing for my classroom, and I know they're enjoying it. So I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I sometimes wish my principal would, I would get that kind of pat on the back. She does it. I'm not sure if she says it to the other teammates, but it would be nice every once in a while, like a good job, or wow, I like the material you're using, or wow, this is something I've never seen before. Tell me more about it. I would love that. And so I would be more conscious. I would be conscious of that as someone as an evaluator. Just making sure that I'm keeping morale up, and just, giving more feedback. I think check-ins are important as well. So it's my principal has done it before, where I go for 15 minutes into her office, and we talk about anything. It could be personal, it could be school related. I wish there was more of it, and I understand she's very busy, and I love her, and so I understand that she might not have time, but I like check-ins too, because it's like, hey, I just want to know how you're doing. Similar to what you do in your classes, that you have check-ins, and I sometimes wish she would schedule a little bit more of those. And I do, but at the same time, I do know that if I needed a check-in, I would be able to say, hey, do you have 50 minutes? I just want to chat. So, but it's nice for her in a leadership role to say, hey, I want to know more about you. And so lastly, the other thing I may or may not include is that portfolio, which, again, it seems like a fun idea. I just don't know if, I think it's something that at our site no one has done, or it's not required. So for me, that's like thinking outside of the box. That would be kind of an interesting another resource, or another tool, assessment tool, to find out or to track, teacher growth. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for this assignment.